In the quiet suburbs of Bondy, just outside Paris, a young boy named Kylian Mbappé spent his childhood chasing a ball across cracked concrete and fading grass. The streets were narrow, the sky often gray, but inside his heart burned a light so bright it could be seen from miles away, if only someone looked close enough. He wasn't born into luxury. His father, Wilfried, was a local football coach. His mother, Faiza Lamari, was a handball player of Algerian descent. Together, they gave Kylian more than love, they gave him purpose. From the age of 4, football wasn't just a game to him. It was the language of survival. While other children played casually, Mbappé played like the world was watching. He studied old tapes of Cristiano Ronaldo, memorizing every step over, every goal celebration, every moment of glory. And then he'd go outside and try to become that image, again and again, until the daylight faded. At school, teachers noticed his obsession. "He lives in another world," they'd whisper. But that world, his dream, was real to him. His friends would talk about toys, but Kylian talked about lifting the World Cup. Even then, he believed, before anyone else did. His town, Bondy, was known for riots, unemployment, and struggle. But within its chaos grew a boy who refused to be defined by his surroundings. "Bondy is not the end," his father told him. "It's just the beginning." Kylian took those words like fuel. Day after day, he practiced under rain and under streetlights that barely worked. Every sprint, every touch, every goal was a step closer to the dream that seemed too big for his age, yet too real for his heart to ignore. By age 13, Mbappé was already drawing attention from Europe's biggest clubs, Real Madrid, Chelsea, and Manchester City. He was still a child, but scouts saw something different, a spark that could change football. But his parents made a bold choice. They refused to let him leave France too early. "Let him grow as a man first," his mother said. And so Kylian stayed to sharpen his speed, his instincts, and his belief. The boy from Bondy was preparing not just to play football, but to rewrite its history. At just 16, Kylian Mbappé made his professional debut for AS Monaco, a club known for turning young talent into legends. But even in a world full of gifted players, Mbappé's presence was electric. Every time he touched the ball, the crowd leaned forward. His speed was unreal, his composure shocking. He didn't play like a teenager. He played like destiny had already chosen him. In 2017, the world witnessed a revolution. Monaco, a team that was never supposed to win, stormed through the French League, Ligue 1, defeating giants, breaking records, and stunning Europe. At the center of it all was a 17-year-old boy from Bondy who scored with calmness beyond his years. That season, Mbappé became a symbol, not just of talent, but of fearless youth. He faced players twice his age, stared them down, and ran past them as if time itself was slowing for him. When Monaco reached the Champions League semifinals, the football world stood still. Headlines called him the new Henry. Real Madrid, Barcelona, Manchester United, they all wanted him. But Kylian had something else in mind. In the summer of 2017, he made the boldest move of his life, joining Paris Saint-Germain, PSG, for a deal worth over 180 million euros, making him one of the most expensive teenagers in football history. It wasn't about money. It was about homecoming. He wanted to inspire kids from Bondy, to show them that greatness doesn't need to come from far away. It can rise from your own street. At PSG, he played alongside superstars like Neymar and Cavani, but Mbappé's light refused to dim. His pace, precision, and power turned him into a weapon no defender could control. Within months, he was scoring goals like clockwork, breaking records once set by legends. And yet, his eyes were always on something greater. The World Cup, the dream he had whispered as a boy, was now within reach. He was no longer just a child chasing a ball. He was France's hope, and soon the world would know why. 2018. Russia. The biggest stage in football, the FIFA World Cup. France entered the tournament with stars like Griezmann, Pogba, and Varane. But it was a 19-year-old boy from Bondy who would soon steal the spotlight. In the group stages, Mbappé showed flashes of brilliance. But against Argentina, the world witnessed his arrival. In that match, he exploded like lightning, sprinting past defenders, drawing fouls, scoring goals that seemed scripted by destiny. France won 4-3, and suddenly, The name Mbappé was echoing in every corner of the planet. He was fearless, fast, ruthless, and when the final whistle blew in the World Cup final against Croatia, France had lifted the trophy, their second in history. And Mbappé? He had become the first teenager since Pele to score in a World Cup final. He was just 19. A kid from the streets of Bondy had conquered the world. Awards poured in. Golden Boy FIFA Young Player of the Tournament. League One Player of the Year. His posters covered the walls of Paris. His smile became a symbol of joy, hope, and possibility. But with glory came pressure. The expectations grew heavier and every missed chance turned into a headline. Yet Mbappé didn't break. He evolved. He began to carry himself like a leader, confident, calm, and committed. At Paris Saint-Germain, he led the team to countless victories, scoring hat-tricks, breaking goal-scoring records, and guiding PSG to their first-ever Champions League final in 2020, though they lost. Mbappe's hunger only deepened. In 2022, at the Qatar World Cup, he returned not as a boy, but as a king. His hat-trick in the final against Argentina turned the game into one of the greatest matches in football history. Even in defeat, Mbappe's brilliance outshone the pain. The world watched him walk off the pitch, heartbroken yet unbowed. And in that moment, the world understood something. Legends are not defined by how they win, but by how they rise again. In a world obsessed with fame, Kylian Mbappé stands as a reminder that greatness begins long before the spotlight. It starts in silence, in those lonely nights of training, in the sacrifices no one sees. Even after becoming one of the world's highest-paid athletes, Mbappe's humility remains untouched. He still visits his hometown, Bondy, donating millions to youth programs, building sports facilities, and inspiring the next generation. "I come from here," he once said, "and I'll never forget where I started." For him, football isn't about money or trophies. It's about purpose, a chance to give meaning to his talent, to prove that dreams can come true no matter where you're born. Off the field, he carries himself like a man twice his age, articulate, composed, and deeply aware of his influence. He speaks out for equality, education, and the importance of believing in yourself. "If you want to be great," he says, "you must first believe that you already are." His story is not just about goals and medals. It's about the power of belief. A boy who once watched Ronaldo on TV became the very player children now watch in awe. The cycle of inspiration continued, from one dreamer to another. And perhaps that's Mbappe's true legacy. Not the records, not the fame, but the fire he ignites in others. He's still young, still chasing perfection, still rewriting the limits of what's possible. But one truth is already clear: when history remembers the legends of this game, the name Kylian Mbappé will stand among them. As the boy who outrun time, fear, and doubt, and proved that destiny belongs to those who dare to chase it.